Oh, Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON West, outpost of ISKCON Seshadripuram for the Sunday feast program. Um, this month being the special month of Kartik or Damodar month. So last 3 weeks, instead of the Bhagavad Gita class that we have been doing on a daily, weekly basis, we have been doing the Damodar Lila and related philosophy and various acharyas um, realizations on the Damodar Lila. So we will continue today also. Maybe this is the fourth week of Damodar, and so we will have 4 weeks of Damodar Katha. We'll continue with Damodar pastime. Again, most of it I'm speaking from His Holiness Bhakti Purushottama Swami Maharaj's book on Damodar Lila. Very nice book, very beautifully compiled by Maharaj from Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Gopala Champa, and also various other scriptures. He has picked up the Damodar thread, and then he has given wonderful aspects of Damodar, not just the pastime, but there are various aspects. Actually, it can go on for another 2-3 weeks also if you really look at it from this book. But anyway, we will continue from from wherever we were doing last week. So here in this we discussed that Krishna was tied up by Mother Yashoda finally. So there is one paragraph which says, the neighborhood lady said, "Alas, after using all the ropes in your house, the small waist of this boy still could not be bound. This indicates his good fortune. Destiny has dictated that he will not be bound. O Yashoda, better you refrain from this endeavor." So they are telling, no, it's not possible to bind this boy. Maybe destiny. They are looking at it as fate. Fate is not that he should not be bound. It is his fate that he should not be bound. These mothers are covered by Yoga Maya, so they are not able to understand this is the Supreme Lord Himself. For the sake of the pastime, Krishna is hiding their vision. So they are thinking like that, the boy's fate, that he is not able to be tied up. When she heard this, she becomes even more, like it says, hearing from this from the ladies, Mother Yashoda became more obstinate and thought, today I will try to bind this boy, even it takes until evening, and I have to use all the ropes in this village, but I will see the end of this boy's belly. I will see the end of this boy's belly. So that we need to meditate upon. To see the end of the boy's belly is not something which is simple. I have to know the size of his waist. He's there standing, just can hold it like that. But she's saying, I want to see the size of this boy's waist, and I want to see the end of it. In this way, in this mood, Mother Yashoda, the greatest well-wisher of her son, would not give up the effort to bind Krishna, setting the scene for a transcendental contest between God and his devotees. Very beautifully written. The transcendental competition, or Maharaj has written so beautifully, I can't even repeat it the same way. Would not give up the effort to bind Krishna, setting the scene for a transcendental contest between God and his devotee. Now there is some more points on this. The limitlessness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is one verse earlier which I will read. This is from Narayanadhyatma, quoted in the Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Kanda 3.52 and 53. It says, Nitya Vyakto Api Bhagavan Iksheta Nija Shaktitaha Tam Vrite Paramatmanam Kha Pashyatamam Itham Prabhum. Translation: even though God is eternally unmanifest, by his internal potency he is also fully manifest. Without the help of this energy, who is able to see that infinite Param Brahma, Parameshwara? So the Lord is infinite. So it's like, it's not about how many ever meters of ropes you bring in, because the Lord, we need to understand, while he looks finite, he is also infinite. That's the beauty. We cannot understand it. There is another verse where there's it says, Prakriti Vyaha param yaccha tad achintyasya lakshanam. That means one cannot use material reasoning on those things which are inconceivable. Inconceivable refers to those things existing beyond Prakriti. Inconceivable means that we, with all our intelligence, however great scientist we are, we cannot conceive this. This is the potency of the Lord. He may look like a small child, but still he cannot be bound by all the ropes in this universe. Why in this earth, on the universe, in the entire universe, or the multi-universes that can be existent right now. Nothing can be bound because he is unmanifest and at the same time manifest, and there's no limit to his manifestation. So these are very deeper things to understand. Just to say, okay, God is such a small thing, or sometimes to limit God, say, oh, he's after all a child, or he's after all got a human form. Therefore, it can only have a limit which is finite. These things we cannot really measure. This achintya is this concept that it's very inconceivable. There is one more verse in Brahma Sutra 2.1.27 which says, Srutestu Shabda Mulatvat. The defects of the agents do not apply to Brahman because of scriptural statements which are the only proof concerning inconceivable subjects. Which means these things we cannot understand by our material perception. We can understand it through the Shabda. That means through the scriptures. So these statements have to be accepted as it is because it is only the hearing which can make it believe. You cannot try to see it with your senses, either through your eyes or through your nose or with your hand. You cannot say, okay, this is the size of Krishna's waist, or with your hands if you have, or with your eyes if you have to say, okay, this child is only whatever, half a foot, 1 foot, quarter foot, whatever you think. It is not something which we can understand. And there are so many other things, like when you talk about a spiritual world, we can try to, use all our, Prabhupada's time, he used to use the word Sputnik, because that was one of the spacecraft which was launched at that point in time. So you can send various versions of Sputnik, but you cannot reach the spiritual world, because if you really measure that, whatever we are going to the end of the universe, so-called, we are saying, but that is like, maybe a quarter a centimeter of this entire universe's actual size. So we can try. It's like, sometimes these things come to my mind very, it looks very, I don't know what to say, that word I'm not able to say. So for example, if an ant is to think, sitting somewhere in my house, thinking, where is Bombay, right? If an ant decides to walk all the way to Bombay, or I don't know, to Delhi or US, right? It's inconceivable for an ant that there is something so far away, a land called the United States of America, right? It can never conceive it, it can never perceive it, it can never realize it. This is like that. So our intelligence is like that we cannot really conceive the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's something which Yashoda Maya is still determined, and this wonderful, what do you call, contest happening between a devotee and the Lord. It's very, very, very personal for Yashoda Maya. So now go to a little bit of a pastime further from what happened. So now here Krishna is finally bound, and it so happened that Krishna, in fact, while he was being bound, he was trying to take help from everybody. All these the gopis, they are not helpful. They are very, very amused. They are so happy that Krishna is bound, so they are all laughing, making fun. Then he calls out, "Oh, Rohini Mataji, please come. Oh, Balram, please come and help me." But these two are conspicuous by their absence, because they had an invitation to be called to some other place. So they went early in the morning. So they were not there while this was all happening. So they couldn't come there. Maybe had Rohini been there, situation would have been much better. Like, Yashoda's could have been maybe, moderated, but she was not there. So Yashoda completely let loose her, conquest to conquer Krishna, her whatever, her desire to conquer Krishna. So this happened. But nonetheless, after she ties up Krishna, then it so happened that Rohini and Balram come back. And then Balram sees, then he was shocked. What is this? Krishna being tied up? Then he suddenly gets so angry and he gets the mood of Shankarshana. So he starts making a big sound. He shouts, "Who dares to tie up Krishna? Who dares to tie up Krishna?" Like that. And then he says, you know who Krishna is? Krishna is Matsya, he is Kurma, he is Varaha, he is Narsimhadev, like that he's saying. But then here Mother Yashoda sees and then she laughs at him and says, "Then who the hell are you?" And then she says, "I am Lakshmana, I am Adisesha," like that. Then she says, "Why the hell all the avatars have to come and take birth in my home only," like that she says. And so then immediately Balram realizes it is Mother Yashoda who has done it, and then he keeps quiet like nothing. And then she says, "This Balram is telling this Krishna is Narsimhadev. This fellow, when a cat says meow meow, he will come running and hide behind my sari, and he's saying is Narsimhadev," like that she will say. So this will all happen, and then Balram will go to Krishna, and Krishna will start crying more to put Balram in a little bit more of a difficulty that, somehow you have to help me to escape. And then he will again try, no, I will untie him, mother, please help, like that. He will go and plead. She will say, "Nothing doing, you will not untie him, neither will anybody untie him." Then he will go to Krishna and then he will start, he has to find a way out of this situation, right? So he will go there and start blaming Krishna. "You rascal, you should not have stolen like this. I have never seen mother in this mood and you have actually put her in this situation." He will turn the tables on Krishna like that, and then, so that he can escape from, not able to, because he is helpless. He doesn't know how to. But the fact is, he is Adisesha. He is Narsimhadev. He is all of that. But when it comes to Yashoda Mataji, that Krishna was running away. What can he do? He simply had to keep quiet and then, not exhibit his actual this one. So he stuck there like that, what to do like that. And then Rohini says, "Okay, now Mother Yashoda then says, okay, you all, many of these boys, these Gopas, you all please be like guards, protect this child, and I will go and continue to do my work." So she goes away from there, and then Krishna does not try to untie himself also, and none of his boys' friends, Gopas, are able to do that. So they are all sitting there, and the gopis slowly, they are all laughing, making little more fun of Krishna that he is tied up, and all they take all their transcendental vengeance. "Oh, nice, you are now bound up," all that, and then they one by one slowly leave that place. So Krishna is now seeing there, standing and seeing, okay, what to do now next. And then he calls some of his friends, "You go to this lady's house. Her house is vacant now. You go and steal butter." So he sent some of them like that. Some of them are still remaining there. Then Krishna, at that time, he turns around and he sees two beautiful trees, very tall trees. They are standing there. And then suddenly Krishna remembers, "Oh, I have some activity to do here with these two trees," like that he thinks. When he thinks that, these two trees have been there for like 3.5 years, when he has been seeing it there only the same spot. But then, how come that he suddenly remembered that Acharyas say, actually, when he is bound up, he actually realizes how difficult it is to be confined. Up to that, he didn't realize that. So when he sees that, so difficult to be confined like this, and then he remembers these two trees, they were actually not actually trees. Those two are actually the sons of Kuvera. Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. So these are aristocratic, Kuvera, the richest man in the universe. So naturally you can imagine his children will be brats. They have like really everything in this, there to enjoy, no responsibility, no, that's why we call these brats, right? Sometimes the rich people's children get spoiled because they have everything, there is no discipline, nothing like that. So these two boys were really in that intoxicated mood. They were in a pond and then they were drinking, and then there were so many girls around like that and all. They were having a nice bath, they were completely naked and swimming in that river, whatever river or pond like that. At that time, Narada Muni actually goes over, flying over there, and then etiquette says, when you see a very saintly person, you immediately at least come to your senses, or you cover your body or something like that. But these boys were completely not bothered, and they were in their intoxicated state like that. And then Narada Muni did not like it. This is not the way the sons of such a great personality should be. They need to be disciplined. Therefore, he gives them, kind of a curse. It is not a curse. Narada Muni can never curse. It's always a blessing. Narada Muni, when he says something, it is always a blessing. So he says, you become now trees, because, that's another thing which we need to understand. So people who want to be naked, right, who are very keen to expose their body very much, it is mentioned they will become trees in their next life, because trees can stand naked for thousands of years. No worries. You can enjoy. Be naked as much as you want. So that is one thing which is being mentioned. People who have this kind of a mindset, you see this, what is this? Nude beaches and all are that there in foreign countries. But these people can rest assured become trees somewhere else in the next life. So like that, so they have been, okay, you become a tree and remain naked as long as you want, like that. Then they come to their senses. Suddenly, like, when you are drunk, I think, when something else is antidote is given, suddenly people become this one. I've heard that. When you are drunk, maybe if you are give something else, then they will suddenly come to their senses. Like that, they were shocked that, what is our position, and suddenly why we are going to be transformed into trees. Then they plead, oh, Narada Muni, forgive us, it's a mistake that we have done, but please help us. Then he says, okay, you don't have to be eternally remaining as trees. The Lord himself will come and relieve you from this kind of a confined situation, like that. He gives a word. That one Krishna remembers now, because he was confined. And he says, oh my God, these fellows have been standing there for how many thousands of years or whatever it is. So let me go and relieve them. He thinks like that, and then he tries to pull that martyr, which Yashoda thought he cannot pull that martyr. Nobody thought he had the strength to pull that martyr away from that place. But he drags that martyr along, and he goes there. And he goes in between those two trees, and he puts it down, like, it's a martyr is standing like that, but he flips it over, and it falls like that, and then he drags it along. And he moves in between these two trees, and then the martyr gets stuck in between these two trees. And he gives it one nudge. And in that power, it's like an earthquake has happened. Suddenly, so much noise comes. With that big noise, those trees explode like that and fall off. And everybody in that vicinity falls like fainting. They faint, actually. It's like an atom bomb, something fell in that place, like an earthquake, huge earthquake which happened. Everybody falls and faints. That time, then everybody come running. Oh, what happened? Coming. At that time, some of them come. Whoever runs coming first, they see Krishna there amidst the tree like that. And of course, Nanda Baba immediately comes running too. And he sees, and he immediately picks up this child. Oh, he's like that. He's tied up like that, and then he unties her as though he doesn't know what happened. Of course, he knew, because Mother Yashoda did tell him after this, like, I did tie up your naughty child, like that. She says, tells him, and then he knows that, but not to disturb Krishna. He says, hey, what happened, child? Like that. He comes there, and then he tries to unbind the child and picks the child up. And then everybody's asking, what happened here? How did the tree fall? Then, including Nanda Baba asks, and then the boys, some boys who were there, they know what has happened. Because when they saw this tree burst, and it cracked, and then it fell, they told, actually, then that Krishna took that martyr between those two trees and dragged it, and then tugged at it, and then both the trees fell off, and then two beautiful looking, handsome young men came out from the tree, and then they stood there. They sang some nice glorification of Krishna. They circumambulated Krishna, and then they went away. They spoke to Krishna something, and then they went away, like that they say. So Nand Baba and those who are in this parental mood, they say, "Hut, what is this?" They are not able to conceive that Krishna did all these things. But there are others who are at this doors. What is this? Maybe there is something like that. But those who are in that parental mood, they could not accept that Krishna is actually such a powerful person. This is my child. What is this? But okay, maybe these boys are imagining things like that. They think and then they just disperse. But in the meantime, what happens? Yashoda, like she's in shock and having this kind of situation where the child is like what is going on in her mind, that is there. Well, but in the meantime, Nanda Baba, he knew what happened, so he does not immediately try to take the child because mother is already angry and all this. So he takes the child, and then Balram, and he carries both of them. He goes to the river bank, whatever, gives them some nice things to eat, like how a father will try to pacify the child. The child is more and more crying, and then he tries to pacify and all that. And slowly he brings back the child, and then you know and the house, and then he sees Rogini and then says, will you now go to Rogini? He says, I will not go to Rogini. Why you will not go? Because she didn't come when mother tied me up. I will not go to her. He's crying, and he's holding on to his father's neck like this and saying, I will not go anywhere. I will be only with you. You only feed. No, how will you feed? Then if you are a child, you need to be fed with your mother's milk. How will you go? No, I will take the cow's milk. I don't want mother's milk. He will say like that. And so he is very adamant he will not go. So then he gives little more time, and then Nanda Baba then tries to see how to now, in the meantime, the news is that Yashoda is heartbroken. She is not eaten for this goes on for 2 days, something like that. So she's not eaten at all, but then this has happened, and the child is now even refusing to come to her, that kind of a situation. So she's really heartbroken, not eating. And everybody says, she's not eating. Then Nanda Baba says, what to do? If you get angry, you have to face the consequences. He says like that, Nanda Baba. But then, okay, 2 days or whatever, she does not eat also. She's in that state. Then anyway, it has to be resolved. Then Nanda Baba also is very angry with her, in that one sense. Then he says, but whatever I'm saying now is doing it not in that anger, but more to see how he can still get the child to, have some peace with his mother. So he says, I will beat her. Like that, he raises his hands. That time Krishna immediately holds his hand like that, and then he says, I want to go to Amma, like that, he says. And then you go to Rogini, he goes, immediately runs to Rogini and hugs her, and then Rogini then immediately takes her to Yashoda Mai. And Yashoda Mai immediately, embraces this child, and there's a nice mother-child relationship there. She's embracing each other, and then and all that is happening. And then then after that, Nanda Baba and Mother Yashoda are not talking to each other, because Nanda Baba is very much upset that, you did this to this child. You tied him up and created so much difficulty. And what if the child was crushed by the tree? You are very irresponsible. Your anger has no limits. He's thinking in those directions. So there's no speech happening between these two. And then Krishna finally he pulls his mother one day in front of him, and then he sort of makes the peace between mother and father like that. So there ends that thing. And from the day Krishna was tied to the martyr, all the inhabitants there, like all the gopis, they started calling him Damodara. See, Dama means rope. Udara means waist. So the one who was tied on the waist by a rope, they called him Damodara. So that name stuck to him as Damodara. And from then on, we have been celebrating this Damodar Lila. And very merciful mood of Krishna, very, very, very compassionate, very giving himself to his devotees in this particular time. And therefore, every year in commemoration of that event, we all celebrate this Damodar month, and we glorify the Lord and Mother Yashoda, the epitome of parental relationship. And we see Krishna is so merciful, he gives himself up to the devotees, one who is actually prana, one who gives these devotees the devotee who is actually really giving himself to Krishna. Krishna gives himself to that devotee. So that's signified in this Damodar month. Now let's look at some more aspects. There's one section which talks about how can Krishna be God. We talked about this earlier, like how to understand Krishna. Like God means certain qualities cannot be exhibited. So there's one section here. I will try to read that. This pastime of binding Lord Sri Krishna, although very sweet, has a very deep philosophical meaning. In this description of the Dhamma Bandhana pastime, it is clear that Sri Krishna, who is Param Brahma, exhibits some qualities through his behavior which are not supposed to be manifest within Param Brahma. How do we reconcile this? Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the apparent contradiction exhibited in this pastime. It has been proven that Sri Krishna is the Param Brahma, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param Brahma is not supposed to have many of the qualities that have been exhibited in this pastime. Param Brahma, being Atma Rama, is not supposed to be hungry. Being Aptakama or ever satisfied, he is not supposed to be dissatisfied. Being beyond the three modes of material nature, he is not supposed to be angry. As Lakshmipati, the Lord of Wealth, he is not supposed to steal. Being the supreme controller of whom even Yamaraj and fear personified are afraid, he is not supposed to be afraid. Since he is unattainable even by great yogis traveling at the speed of mind, he is not supposed to get caught. Being Ananda Punja, full of bliss, he is not supposed to be crying with sadness. As Mayavadis, the controller of Maya, as Maya Disha, the controller of Maya, who binds every living entity with the ropes of the three modes, he is not supposed to be bound. However, in this pastime, we see all these qualities exhibited. Krishna felt very hungry, dissatisfied, and angry. He stole, he was afraid, ran away, was caught by his mother, and was scolded by her. He cried and was eventually bound by his mother. How can we reconcile that Atma Rama, Nitya Tripta, Shuddha Sattva, Lord Krishna has exhibited such hunger, dissatisfaction, anger, and so on? Srila Jiva Goswami has given a very nice explanation of this. Along with the unlimited qualities of God, his quality of Purnata and Isita remain within him eternally. But among all these qualities, his quality of mercy towards his devotees is undoubtedly the topmost. Without the supreme mercy, all his other great qualities would not be pleasurable to anyone. If someone's nature gives pleasure to people, then he is considered to be good. But if he is merciless, then he is considered to be faulty. God cannot have any fault, and we should consider this quality of God to be merciful towards his devotees, Bhaktanuragaha, to be his greatest quality. Sri Sukadeva Goswami has said in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.19.5, Yata tvam kripaya bhutya tejasa mahi manusau mahi manu jasa jushta isa gunaihi sarvais tato asi bhagavan prabhuhu. O my Lord, because you are endowed with causeless mercy, all opulence, all prowess, and all glories, strength and transcendental qualities, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of everyone. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura has mentioned in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 6.9.5, you being served by the Kripa Shakti, wait eagerly to get a tulasi leaf from a devotee. These are all statements from the scriptures. So we offer tulasi leaf at the lotus feet of the Lord. How powerful that simple offering is. If we really meditate on that, we will do it every day. Offer one tulasi leaf at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You being served by the Kripa Shakti, wait eagerly to get a tulasi leaf from a devotee. You ask your devotee, today I am very hungry. Please give me something to eat. Thus, even though the Lord is Purnakama, he is also Apurnakama. So sometimes, the Lord, everything came from him, so why to give him boga? No. We will eat sumptuously. And thank Lord. We don't even thank Lord. Even if you thank Lord, we are great. To be really saying, even someone feels thankful to God, he is supposed to be a great in Kali Yuga. But we want to go beyond that, It's not say, oh, everything belongs to him, therefore, he will take for himself, I don't have to do. This is very completely impersonal. Whether everything belongs to him or not, we should have that loving mood that, we should offer it to the Lord. That is very, very, very important. Just like, I've said this many times and I can say it many, many, many more times because it's very practical for us to actually realize this. So many times the children come and give us, like, the child comes and gives the father, the mother, or the grandparents some small chocolate or something like that. But the parents feel so happy. Have they not eaten a chocolate ever in their life or what? And they think, as this is the child who has he earned this chocolate and given it to you? Nothing. He's basically picked up some chocolate which you have kept somewhere and bringing and giving it to you, and you feel so happy. Oh, my child is giving me chocolate. Then you put and all that, you open your mouth and the child puts in your mouth. You feel so happy. It is all after all yours. But then why, when the child gives, you feel so happy? This is a similar thing. If you have to extrapolate it further in the spiritual context, we may be grayed, we may be having wrinkles, we may be 90-year-old, but to the Lord we are still children. And we should have that mood that, like that child who's giving it to the father, even though, it belongs to the father, we should have that mood to give the father, the offering like that. And the Lord is waiting to receive it. That's what is mentioned in this purport. Vishwanatha Chakrashila, Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, as mentioned in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam 6.9.5, you being served by the Kripa Shakti, wait eagerly to get a tulasi leaf from a devotee. You ask your devotee, today I am very hungry, please give me something to eat. Thus, even though the Lord is Purna Kama, he is also Apurna Kama. By this, we understand that Krishna is Bhaktanu Graha, or merciful to his devotees. This is his greatest quality. This mercy shown to the devotee has to be given in at least the same proportion as the devotion the devotee has for Krishna. If he gives less mercy to the devotee than is reflected by his devotion, then it will be a fault on the Lord's part, Krishna has said. So that's very beautiful, right? Like, see, if you give one, Krishna cannot give half or 3/4. Then it is faulty. Then he is not God. God cannot be faulty. So if you give one, he has to give maybe more than one. That's the logic which is here is being driven. Then it will be the fault on the Lord's part. Krishna has said, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. This is there in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 4.11. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. To the extent you reach out, I will reach out to you. This is Krishna's own words in Srimad Bhagavad Gita 4.11. If the devotion of a devotee is completely causeless, without any designation, having the power to control Krishna, then Krishna is bound to reciprocate with his devotee to the degree of love exhibited by the devotee. Therefore, we should not be simply looking at this transaction. I will give you this, you give me this. Our love to the Lord should be unconditional. Oh Krishna, I love you. That's all. Now he has nothing but nothing to love you back. Otherwise he can bribe you, give you 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore and be done with you. But here, when you say I love you, there is no limit to that. And he has to reciprocate with that love. Otherwise there is fault in him. It's not in the words or lips. It's actually when you say I love you, it is not simply I love you, right? That example again. This husband and wife, two of them are very, supposed to be having a nice loving relationship. So the man comes from work, very hard work, and the wife is sitting there and watching television. And then she sees him, oh husband, I love you so much. And then she continues to watch television. First day, okay, chalo, it's okay. Second day, third day, I love you, I love you. Then he says, what the hell do you love me? I've come so much, taking so much beating. Can you not just, come and sit next to me, give me a little bit of water or, have some nice words. You are just watching the television all the time. So it's not lip service. It is service. When you love someone, you actually serve that person. That is real love, right? Even in material context also we say, right? Love means it's serving. You have to serve that person. Then you are really loving that person. So here, When you say, I love you, Krishna, we actually want to serve Krishna. And when that happens, Krishna is now, he's little uncomfortable. What can I give? They don't want anything from me. What can I do? I will give myself. That's different than transactional business. So Damodar month actually is about this. And the song that we sing, also we will be singing, right, in another 10, 15 minutes time or whatever. That song also actually says, can you give me the translation of that song from that book? So we will just go through that also. Maybe today, then we will continue more on this. That one actually talks about not asking for anything. Like, Damodar, we all sing nicely every day. But here we are actually saying we don't want to ask anything. We just want to, share our love. That something like that. The words will be there, the translation. We will just read through the translation. The song, of course, we will do after this, but we will do the translation. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose shark shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, resolve within bracket, who I, who is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who run after him with great speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. This is the first. Namamishwaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. That, for that thing, this is the meaning. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with three lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with rope but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. That is the second one, which is Rudantam Muhur Netra Yugmam Rijantam Kadamboja Yugmena Statanka Netram. Third one. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of the supreme majesty and opulence, intimacy, and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. Now you are going beyond the transaction. Awe and reverence is what we do majority of the time. For us, God means awe and reverence. Awe and reverence. But here we want to transcend this awe and reverence and look at him as a person. He is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. This is the third paragraph, which is Iti Drikshva Lila Bir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimagnagnam Agya Payantam. Now, fourth one, O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation. Very clearly, I do not want liberation. Sorry. Nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha. I don't even want to be wanting to live in Vaikuntha. That is also some kind of some higher taste, but still you are asking for something from Krishna here. I want to go to Vaikuntha or I want to be liberated. No, they don't want to ask for this. Nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. Naturally, when you do chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, or Pada Sevanam, or Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, anything you do, while this is transcendental, you can also get something if you ask. It's not like bhakti means you won't get anything. If you want to ask, you can ask. By doing chanting, some people chant Hare Krishna and they also ask. It's not like Hare Krishna when it's not powerful to give you whatever you want. But we don't want to use Hare Krishna Mahamatra for such cheap things. The Acharyas put it that way. Hare Krishna mantra is so far powerful than getting some material benefits. So we don't want to use it for that purpose. Here it is being talked about like that. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bala Gopala in Vrindavana may ever be manifested in my heart. Manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? Just this form of your embedded in my heart, that is good enough for me. What other things can give me happiness? This is the mood when you sing this song. This is the fourth verse, which is Varam Deva Moksham na Moksha Vadinva Nachanyam Brineham Varecha Dapiha. Of course, there's two more lines which I am not reading, just for the relating to which verse we are talking. Fifth verse. O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. Very strongly here. I don't want anything of material consideration from you. This is what we are singing actually when we sing this. This is verse number 5, what I just now said. Idam te mukambojam atyantanilair vrutam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya. Now, sixth one. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. Verse number 6. Namo Deva Damodara Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabi Magnam. This is the 6th. Now 7. O Lord Damodara, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalakuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby, tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar. In the same way, please give me your own prema bhakti. Very important. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. Verse 7. Kuveratmajau baddha murtyaya yadvat Tvaya mochitau bhakti bhajau kritau cha. This is verse 7. Now verse 8 is the last verse. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. This is the last verse, which is Namaste stu damne sprudha deepti damne tvadiyo darayata visvasya damne. So it is now what, 8:2. So maybe we can conclude here on today's class, and possibly we can go for Damodara Ashtakam. We will first take darshan of the Lord, then we will go for Damodara Ashtakam. And after that, if there are devotees have any questions or any comments, any sharings, we can have that. So, okay, we will take a couple more minutes. So, in the meantime, let me discuss some other aspects of it. Maybe another few more minutes. Okay, let's see. There is in this Damodar month, this particular Ekadasi is coming, right? Uttana Ekadasi. That is basically day after tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. That's tomorrow. So we will see some speciality about this. Of course, our Gopesh may be posting a video, but in the meantime we can see that Uttana Ekadasi in the month of Kartika. In ancient times, there was a demon named Shanka, who was the son of Sagara or the ocean. He forcefully took control of all the planets, including Indraloka. All the demigods had fled their planets and were hiding in a cave due to fear of this demon. The demon Shanka thought, even though I have conquered all demigods, they still appear very powerful. He realized that the demigods derived their power from Vedic mantras and thought, I will plunder the Vedas so that all these demigods will become weak. With this consciousness, the demon Shanka plundered all the Vedas from Satyaloka, the planet of Brahma. While being taken by this demon, the personified Vedas, being afraid, ran away, escaping his control, and merged into the water along with Yajna, mantra, and all its seeds. The demon Sanka entered into the ocean in search of the Vedas but could not find them anywhere. During the time, the Lord, who was sleeping, was approached by the demigods offering him prayers. Upon hearing these prayers, the Lord awoke and said, O demigods, I, being pleased by your prayers, want to give you a boon. You have woken me on the Ekadasi Tithi of Shukla Paksha, waxing moon, in the month of Kartika. For this reason, this Tithi is very pleasant and respected by me. The Vedas, which were stolen by the demon Shanka, have been merged into the ocean. I will kill this demon Shanka and bring you the Vedas. During this month of Kartika, anyone who takes an early morning bath should be considered as having taken bath in Avabhrita, the sanctified water of the Yajna. From today, I will reside in the water during the month of Kartika. All you demigods, along with the Munis, please come with me into the water. Having said this, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and entered into the water from the sky. After killing the demon, Shanka, the Lord came to the forest of Badari or Badrikashrama in the Himalayas. There, he ordered all the rishis, Munishwaras, all of you should immediately enter into the ocean and collect all the Vedic mantras from the water. In the meantime, I, along with all the demigods, will stay in Prayaga. After receiving this order from the Lord, all the Maharishis, by dint of their austerities, rescued the Vedic mantras along with all the yajnas and other mantras. From that day, the rishis became connected to the particular mantras that they rescued, and each became known as the rishi of that mantra. Then all the rishis went together to Prayaga to meet the Lord. There they offered all the Vedic mantras to Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma. Brahma was very happy to retrieve all the Vedas, and he, along with all the Devas and Rishis, performed an Ashwamedha Yajna at Prayag. So this is the glory of Uttana Ekadasi, the day in which the demigods went and prayed to the Lord, and the Lord became very pleased. So we can observe this Ekadasi. This Ekadasi, all Ekadasis are very special, particularly the one in Damodara month or Kartik month is very, very special because the benefits multiply hundreds and thousands of times. Okay, so I see Rishabh has put up his hand. Is there anything, Rishabh, that you want to?
Nothing. It was very nice lecture.
Sorry?
Nice kirtan and nice lecture.
Okay, thank you. So, Haribol, are we ready? Okay.
Could I sing today?
Sorry?
Could I sing today, Damodara Ashtakam?
Yes, today you will be singing the Damodara Ashtakam. First, we will have darshan of the Lord, and then you will sing.
Yeah.
Okay? Adi list irukka? So the next 5 days, this will also be the Bhishma Panchaka, basically the in these 5 days the austerities are to be really, I think Bhishma observed this particular austerity, and therefore devotees actually follow this. So, like there are various levels. I'm not now fully able to recollect the entire all the 5 levels, but it's like the first level it's gomutra and the cow dung. So devotees actually eat only this 5 days. At that level, they only take this. There are very first day cow dung, second day gomutra, like this one portion, things like that goes on. Panchakavya basically we say like then the milk like that ghee like that one day one all the 5 days it's taken like that. Then there is other one where there's roots and fruits. Let's say then avishya like this. There are different stages. I can share that document which has the details. I can share the link also where you can go and check it out. So many devotees follow this Pancha Bhishma Panchaka. And then in these 5 days for this Lord, these are the last 5 days of Kartik. So the Kartik is ending on 19th Kartik month. According to our calendar, maybe some other parampara may have one day this side, that side, something like that. But as per our calendar, it's ending on the 19th. And therefore, the 5 days starting from tomorrow, there is one special offering that is made to the Lord. So we can all try to make those offerings. So day one, you can offer a lotus to the lotus feet of the Lord. So the different parts of the Lord will be, you have to offer one offering like this. Day one, it is lotus. Day two,
bilwa leaf to the knee of the Lord.
So day two is bilwa leaf to the knee of the Lord. So day one, lotus to the lotus feet of the Lord. Day two, bilwa leaf to the knee of the Lord. Day three,
sent to the navel.
Day three is sent to the navel. So I don't know. Scent today will be alcohol. So you need to see what scent is. Ganda. It's basically, I don't know, maybe sandalwood pulp. There are some nice natural scents which you can apply to. This is to the navel of the Lord. What is the fourth day? Hibiscus. Hibiscus to the chest of the Lord. That is day 4. And day 5, Kadam. Malati flower. That is to the head of the Lord. So Malati leaf, Malati flower, right? I don't know whether we can really get Malati flower here like this. But instead of that, you can offer Tulasi leaf. Manjari. Tulasi Manjari. So Krishna, Tulsi Manjari is it's like the, I don't know what you should call. I don't want to use the, the cards term or something like that where you called, can actually replace anything else. Yeah. So in case any day we don't get these special items, maybe a tulasi can be offered to that portion of the Lord and offer that particular item through tulasi. Because anyway, but even then, whatever we offer, actually it is better to touch it with tulasi and then offer it. That's the other thing. Any offering to the Lord is actually offered after offering a tulasi leaf or a manjari on that item. So this can be done. If that particular item you couldn't get that day, you can offer a tulasi to that. So that's something which we can all try to follow in this next 5 days. What else? So we are now ready.
Stop the stream for now, and we have to restart.
Why you have to stop?
No, then Zoom will not come because we in
Okay.
YouTube.
So give us a minute. We will we are also parallelly on the YouTube, so we will disconnect and then we will join back because we will be having Rishabh singing. So we need to make some little changes to the thing. So we will, and you will all remain. Zoom will continue. In YouTube, we will disconnect and join back. Please join back.